Yes, when we get the thumbs up on that. So we have to clean up our act a little bit. Those of you, man,
Do we
again,
have
it's something else. I mean,
Makeup with Stephanie?
Yes, Makeup with Stephanie is back on that on the YouTube of that. Man, 2020. Although I think 2020 is going to be a poppin' year. Man, the news is just going like crazy. I mean, it's just like story after story each and every day, jammed up here. 100%. I mean, just got a new one on Moreno Valley of an old news story is popping back up on that. That we'll get into on the...
By popping year, do you mean good or just...
Well, I don't know. I mean, it remains to be seen. I mean, everybody can make their own judgments on it. But, I mean, I think 2020, if nothing else, is going to be a very interesting year for the way it's starting out. I mean, it's just like, man, everybody's just going, yeah, on this stuff. So...
Not me.
Well, wait, I guess you're the eye in the storm of this. Is just totally calm, mellowed out.
Someone's got to do
I'd
it.
always like to do that. I always wanted to fly, where they fly through the hurricane or something, and then you fly in the middle. The plane's rattling. It looks like it's going to shake apart as you're going through the storm, and then you get in that eye, and everything's just calm as day. I think that'd be absolutely.
I heard
neat.
it's beautiful.
Yes.
I wonder what that would be like.
Well,
I want to do that too.
If you can take the
adrenaline.
Yeah, because I mean
we should offer rides to do that.
The plane is just absolutely almost like it's shaking apart as you're going through the actual hurricane storm.
Do people actually do that?
Yeah, they've got it on. Well, sometime we'll run. Well, Jesse probably sent some video.
I love weather stuff. That's like my jam right there is weather.
Would you be one of those reporters?
Be
Maybe if we can ever get a hurricane out there, we'll have you standing out there. Yeah, with the umbrella,
Heck
with the rain coming down and the waves coming in and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
that idiot out there with my cell phone during a lightning storm. Seriously. He's coughing on us.
I haven't coughed all day. As soon as you get on here, it's like you have to sneeze or
my
cough.
kids have a horrible cough though too.
Well, like I said, I had it on New Year's Day. I had the runny nose on that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to IE Newswire Daily with your hosts Stephanie and Roy, where we discuss local news from the Inland Empire and beyond. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Yes, you are. We're back on a fantastic Friday on that. All that man is the news.
I love guessing what we're going to go with.
Well, yeah, it makes it fun.
It does.
And that's part of the. They see, what is it? Spice? No, variety is the spice of life. Of that, doing things different, experiencing different stuff, or changing it up makes life interesting. Makes you want to get up in the morning and do things, and keeps your mind occupied and wandering from all these negative things that everybody's doing or saying or yada yada yada. When you get all this stuff going, and then on top of that, you learn how to turn things into a positive. But the stories are just popping. We covered the Wedgwood home, the Oakland deal up there, where the squatters, the Women's for Homeless or whatever, decided that, and we got a little more information. We covered that. Occupied. We walk into a house they don't own, they don't rent, no nothing, and they just decide they're occupying it. Well, today, one of the good things to come out of California is a sane judge ruled, you know what? You have 5 days to get out of that house. You have no right to be in that house. You did not pay for it. You did not sign an agreement to rent it or compensate its owner. You have no right to be in there. So hopefully they will be in. And the side story, and we didn't get into that, is James Washington, the ex-Cowboys superstar football player. He actually had an agreement with Wedgwood that to he runs a nonprofit with the youth that go in there, and they go in there and they teach the youth, they rehab the homes and that. And Wedgwood splits the profits with James Washington's organization, so they get they get some money too to run their stuff, and the kids in troubled youth get to learn maybe a skill or trade or how to rehab a house. And he was in there saying, hey, we you're holding us up from doing our work. We're in there, we want to get in there, rehab the house, and these two women are up there trying to make a point of, oh, we just we just walked in here and owned it. But there's a slight sliver of hope for California, because we did have one sane judge up in Oakland, of all places, that said, you're making an interesting argument, but you have no claim to this property. So you better be getting your stuff and getting it out of there in 5 days, or the sheriff is going to come by and arrest you. And they're screaming, oh, we're going to do that. But here's the new organization. We previewed it a little bit, Acorn, and we'll go into the history of that. But the new organization that's offshoot of that, since that all went down the tubes, is ACE. So when you hear ACE behind this stuff, watch the hell out, because you're getting into trouble. We'll have a lot of stuff going up. A store employee takes on a thief. That's an absolutely great. We got some videotape on that.
That laugh scares me.
Mickey D's solution to the homeless.
Ooh.
Oh, that's another great one that's coming up with. Aussie land and California have something exactly in common, and we'll get into that. It's something we've talked about that. And of course, we're going to have our continuing segment of good guys with guns and how to use them properly. We will be doing that on top of that. Coming up later on, we're going to preview the North American Speedway Finals at Perris Speedway. The Perris Speedway that's on the west end of town as you're going out on 74 on Burton Road, the old motorcycle track that's been there, I think, since the 50s. They're now the World Championship qualifier. A lot of the big guns will be out there, like Aaron Fox, the Rummel brothers. And we're going to have superstar European rider back from that will be riding tomorrow night out at Perris Speedway. Broc Nihol will be on to preview that whole race coming up on there, because that's their big race of the year. It was usually in December, but it got rained out, so they've rescheduled it back for this Saturday night out there. So that'll be an absolutely great race. 20 main events across the whole board, and I think one person is actually that wins that is actually automatically seeded in to represent the USA over in Europe on the World Speedway deal. But this just breaking, you ain't gonna believe this. I mean, I was kind of shocked myself. Old GFB over here found the story.
And explain what GFB means for those that might not know.
Goldfish brain. That
I wear it proud.
no,
I don't actually.
No, you're
I hate
getting
it.
no. You
promoted me to Dolphin Brain. Why did I get demoted? And when the heck did that happen?
Well, you're earning your stripes as Dolphin Brain, because you found this story.
I was already Dolphin Brain. When did the demotion happen? You need to let me know when it happens. But whatever.
No, but it was, and I didn't even know this. It just came out today, or at least came in the press enterprise today. Local story. Man, let's preview this a little bit. World Logistics Center. There's been nothing probably that's been more famous, talked about, controversial, up and down. People drawed lines in the sands. It was approved in 2015. It's a 3,000-acre out on the east end of town that's proposed into a World Logistics Center, distribution center, probably one of the world's biggest ones out there, out by where the Skechers building. Highland Fairview, the developer out there who developed the 1.8 million square foot Skechers building, is proposing this project. It's been tied up in the courts and all that since then, almost that. Here's the headline in the press enterprise. Moreno Valley ignored environmental law when it okayed World Logistics Center. California Attorney General says Xavier Becerra and the California Air Resources Board accuse the city of sidestepping responsibility to regulate emissions from the proposed warehouse project, and yada, 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 yada. Let's cut to the chase. California Air Resources Board. Let's break that down for a little bit. Mary Nichols is the head of that. I think we're appointed by Jerry Brown. She's the one that came out with this with the AB 32 and why your gas prices are $1 plus higher than anybody else practically in the United States. They made this study. Phonier than hell. They got this guy who didn't even have a degree, said he had a PhD or some darn thing. When they finally got to it, he was just some probably bum or junkie they pulled off the street. But anyway, they said, they made this big study and said, all the pollution and diesel trucks, and we're all going to die of diesel smoke and the whole da-da-da-da-da. When they finally got to the breaking it down, you would have had to have every diesel-powered vehicle, tool, generator, tractor running 24/7, 365 in a year, and you couldn't produce the amount of pollution they said it was. So when you hear California Air Resources Board, automatically discount, make them prove what they're saying because they're lying SOBs. Proven they don't have no, and they're still there running this kind of crap. We're all going to die of diesel smoke. And we heard this all in the World Logistics Center. You want to say something?
I do.
Go ahead.
So I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I have heard the man building this speak a couple times. All the diesels and trucks they're using are greenhouse energy, right? It doesn't put all the stuff into the air.
I don't care.
It's all I know, but
I
why
don't
are they
care
doing
if
this?
they're 1947 Mack trucks with black smoke blowing out the freaking pipes. I went and said this. One guy, you go back and run the tapes in August 19th or 18th of 2015.
I'm going to say 1999 or something. Anyways, okay.
I stepped up to the podium at the public hearings of that in the 3-minute comments. And I had confirmed this. Walking in within Planning Director Rick Sansamar, I said, hey, I just want to make sure of this, Rick. I'm going to go up there and I want to make sure that I'm correct. I said, you know what? Putting this World Logistics Center in here, I said, first thing, the biggest pollution generator in California, United States is idling cars and trucks. Yes, it is. Rick's confirmed that. So I said, this is what I'm going to say when I walk up there to the podium, and I want to be, if I'm not wrong, please correct me. I said, this project, which will move jobs closer to where the workers are, and people will not be clogging the freeways, driving 1-2 hours of work, idling and stuck in traffic and jamming area, will eliminate 152 gazillion times less pollution than whatever if the diesel trucks were 1947 Perkins engines blowing black smoke out the stacks. He said, you are correct. So I made my speech, a 3-minute speech, and you can go back to do it. Not only after the speech, the spokesman from the South Coast Air Quality Management District, the one that oversees all this pollution, government agency, walked up to me and said, after my comments, and said, you are exactly right. This whole thing is BS. It's false rhetoric. It's another one of these deals where we're letting people, all of you, anybody that call in 951
922
3532. Well, we'll
no,
do
not
that
yet.
in a few minutes, but you can call in right now.
242.
5397 951. You can do that after 5:30.
There's too many numbers.
Call in. Any of you that voted, because the vast majority, 60% of the people voted for Gavin Newsom for governor and Javier Becerra for attorney general that are doing this. 60%. I want that 60% to call up and tell me why you voted for these idiots and why you keep doubling down on stupidity in this state. Because it's got to stop. Because we're killing ourselves. We're actually going to, if this project was built, you are going to see a lower amount of pollution because cars parked on the freaking freeway and on that idling where people cannot get to work, because let's not even forget why that even happened. That was another stupid policy that's coming on. This is where the pollution is coming from. Your vehicle pollutes about 10 times more sitting there idling than it does driving 60 mile an hour down the freeway. Probably even more than that, but it's a very great percentage. So these idiots that come on across this stuff have absolutely no freaking clue of what they're talking about. They're actually, as I've said, they're actually damaging the environment 152 times more. The real green people are people like me that say, this is what the real facts are, and have guts enough to go up there and say it. Greenie trucks, I don't care. That should be totally discounted. I don't care if they were perpetual motion and they were taking a propeller and winding up a frickin' rubber band and propelling these trucks. The truck pollution is negligible to the amount of air quality that would be cleaned up just because people wouldn't be driving 87 miles to work. They would be driving 10 minutes to work.
Preach it, baby, bro.
This goes into
But what about climate change? It's going to ruin the climate change.
Did you hear anything that I just said?
No, I'm just trying to drive you insane.
I know.
Because it's
Does
so
this
easy.
Because this goes back to go at IEN Newswire.
Really quick, Michelle writes in, hey, I'm outside the KUSI studios in San Diego where Gonzalez is about to show up, and there's people starting to stand outside the studio to protest. You should call me. I don't know. I felt like that was towards you because I have no idea. Thanks for letting us know, Michelle.
Who's Gonzalez? We'll call her, right?
Who's Gonzalez? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who's Gonzalez.
Please don't type it in the comments either.
In that, no, it's going on across that. So go to IEN Newswire to the Gavin Newsom deal.
Here we go.
Of just what he. This is the idiocracy of what's going on in today. So he announces today, among other things, of all the other stupid things, we are going to give more free health care to illegals, which I said, and I wrote that in deal. And go up to the comments. I put more free health care that you, the taxpayer, is going to pay for. Who's the guy in there that there's one in comment in there, find it, that it says, the guy says, what are you defining in free? Sometimes just click on the most relevant and put newest or whatever comments are up there on that. Go to all comments. Click on that. See if
now go to Starbucks and get me.
Yes. Because no matter what, and like this guy pointed out, he said, there is nothing free. And that's what I've said. There is no free health care for nobody. Somebody somewhere's paying it. And we don't have enough money to fix everything else or provide health care for everybody or that. We got plenty of money to provide health care for people who are in this country illegally. How freaking insane is that?
It's insane. I can't believe it. I'm pissed.
Exactly.
Do I get free health care? I want free health care.
Yes, because there is no such thing. If we would just, and we've had Dr. Josh Umber on this show, who provides unlimited doctor visits, prescription drugs at 90% less than what you're buying, $50 a month for mother, father, and $10 a month for kids. So mom and dad and 2 kids, $120 a month, unlimited doctor visits, 24/7, yada, yada, yada. You let the free market work this stuff. Now they're talking about making the state of California run the whole drug. You'll have to buy your prescription drugs through the state of California is going to contract through all this or to provide all the prescription drugs. If you want to talk disaster, if you want to talk the price going even up higher, this will just make it go worse. Every time the government gets their hands on stuff, they ruin it. They jack the prices up. They jack the price up 3 times as much and give you half the product. Let the free market work. Healthcare costs would plummet. We could all afford it. And if you don't want it, then you accept the consequences for it. I don't know. I mean, I can't.
You look like you're gonna burst.
Yes,
I'm scared.
I do. I mean, it makes it makes my head want to explode.
That's how he feels on the inside.
Yes.
I can feel it right now. It's like making
how
me
do you?
speechless.
Where is the logic behind all this stuff? I mean, we had the Bernie bots over there, and we ran the whole thing on climate change. Their logic makes no sense, and because their logic makes no sense because they're building it on a false premise, a lie.
Okay, Michelle writes in AB5. I have people here I can interview if you want to call me. And Scott writes in, why are illegals always being taken care of ahead of the taxpayer citizens? Amen, Scott.
Yes.
That's what he's saying.
Yes. I love the passion over here. Dolphin brain. See? Well, there you go. This is why this stuff is these are why these elections matter. And this is why this stuff is important. Because we're getting screwed one way or the other all across the board on this stuff. And I don't know. It's driving me insane.
Clearly, as you can see, that's why he's so crazy. Everybody out there that's wondering what his problem is. This is why. So change it and fix it because he's hard to deal with.
Pull up the Mickey D's solution to the homeless problem video of their.
I want to see what this is. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, this is. I mean, I got McDonald's right on. The this local.
Oh, we're
McDonald's,
happy about this then.
Yes.
Oh, so it's got to be a good one then.
Oh yes. This was brilliant. I mean, absolutely freaking brilliant. What McDonald's? So we talked about the whole homeless thing and this, and they're. Making it intolerable for people to come into businesses and whatever on across the board. But the McDonald's, and it might have been up in San Francisco, but we'll find out when we get to the video of that. Find out which station it's on, Jesse, of that. But this is what they did. This is a Channel 7 report, I think, on that. So go ahead and roll the McDonald's video. Go ahead.
Residents are not loving a new idea by one Sacramento McDonald's.
But it has nothing to do with the menu. Yeah, the sounds of bagpipes are playing 24/7 from the speakers at this location, all in an effort to deter the homeless from sleeping at the restaurant. Speaking with restaurant management, residents are going crazy, hoping they pull the plug on the music they say is not working. Neighboring residents have now taken their matters to corporate, who have yet to respond to their request.
I think that is absolutely brilliant.
So they're playing bagpipes?
Yes, 24/7 outside of their store. So, okay, homeless, you want to camp in
I'm telling you, they say the best way to get rid of homeless is to make them uncomfortable.
Yes, and that's exactly what this Sacramento McDonald's was doing of that. And yeah, if I was living in that area, I wouldn't be complaining. I would be over there shaking the hand of the manager of the McDonald's saying, can we buy you some louder speakers so these vagrants, bums, junkies.
You would go out there. You would probably buy your own and be dancing in the street playing it. Like
yes, I would be out. Yeah, you want some more? You will need help out here. We will run a concert for these guys. They'll listen to me sing. Now, if that didn't run them off, nothing will. I said, I'll help you out on this deal. I'll start doing a concert out here, and you'll watch these people dissipate faster than if they were shot out of a cannon. This is, like I say, this is an absolute brilliant stroke on that from this McDonald's up in Sacramento. I think I was cracking up when I heard this one on the deal because man, and you're right. I mean, and make them as uncomfortable if they're going to encroach on our quality of life, then turnabout is fair play.
I just want to ask, how many times have you said I'm right today?
Probably 152.
Okay. 152, that's a good number.
Yes. See how I just flashed that stuff out of my head?
Yeah, you're so brilliant, Roy. I want to be like you when I grow up. No, we're not marking that.
Jesse.
I'm the one that clips the damn videos. Why don't you tell me?
Well, because you won't clip it.
No, I won't clip that one. I don't know what you're talking about. I never said that.
Too bad it's recorded for all time into history.
True.
On that. So it is. I mean that I couldn't. I mean, I was just like cracking up when I heard that one on that because that's what more businesses ought to be doing that. And I hope the McDonald's, I hope corporate doesn't put a kibosh on things like this because this is exactly what all business owners, shopping centers where these guys are coming in, yada yada yada. Okay, why not put some like outdoor fire sprinklers, like where they gather like under the shelters
Or like
or under the
misters,
awnings?
but they would probably get frozen though.
Well, yeah, just let's all of a sudden just blast. Let's sprinkle around. Oh well, we got to clean the sidewalk.
Pressure wash.
Yeah,
Not
like
like 3 in
every
the morning.
2 minutes. We want to make sure everything is completely sanitary, and our patrons are not walking or don't get any diseases or anything or catch a cold on all the stuff going on. So I think it's let's start
it's
being proactive, like the sheriff's department is doing. Just okay.
Are we doing a cleanup crew?
We can do. Yeah, we should.
cleanup?
We should crank that back up.
I like that idea.
Yes, there
Who
was one.
wants to participate?
That
with
was
us,
one of
reach
my-
out a message.
One of my more brilliant or successful projects was a Merino Valley Kids cleanup thing that I ran.
Was that the one where they would like post pictures on Facebook and it was like a group of people that would go out and clean up everything? Put your stupid hand down and get rid of that smile.
Yeah, that was that.
That
yeah,
was a good
that,
little
That
club.
stupid guy you're sitting right next to was the one that
I
was.
didn't say the stupid guy. I mean,
Yes.
I would use other
Well-
words than that, but
Yeah.
can't say
Well,
that on air,
I'm trying to
so.
I'm trying to clean it up a
Oh.
little bit.
clean up with your cleanup talk.
Yes, since we're talking cleanup, yeah, I was trying to clean up your that before you got to enumerate on that. But no, that was one of the things that I did, and like I said, that was probably the only time that I can remember that I was actually recognized for an award for something on that, at least from the city governments. Or
Scott wrote in, spray bleach, not water.
Ooh, Scott's got an evil mind over there.
Light a match.
Well, you're an even eviler mind than Scott.
Hey, I was just saying what he might have was
Please
gonna
no.
write.
Don't do anybody out there listening. We don't recommend that. That's just a attempt at
I was
humor
just saying to light
for
this
doing
candle.
That. Yes, on that stuff. Now, if that sort of happened,
Oh yeah, that's. Anyways, moving on.
but no, that was it was really a great project, and it was nothing. One of the things I was most proud of is it was all volunteers.
It was a huge project, really. That was. I remember seeing.
Yeah, we
it.
did it every week. We did it every
Yeah.
Thursday. Every
It got
Thursday.
posted. I think it got. Wasn't Merino Valley
Oh
Matters
yeah,
posting
no,
that?
yes, we were doing it, and Merino Valley Matters actually picked it off. Deborah did not have her phone pictures or whatever set to privacy. Facebook was actually picking the pictures off of Deborah's phone and making videos of our cleanup effort back in 2016 or 17 when we were doing
We should
it.
do that again because you know what? My boys really loved it when we went out there and did that. And I can pass out flyers at the schools and stuff like that.
It
It'd be a
is
lot of fun.
that was it was a great project, and we did it.
But this would be strictly just volunteer.
Yeah,
Nobody's,
that's the way we
I
did it. We
mean,
didn't. There was no. It was all okay. We're showing up at the corner of Cottonwood and Perris Boulevard. We're going to do that. We did it like an hour, and
Yeah.
which worked out good. Well, in the summertime, we did it like from 7 to 8 because by 7 o'clock it's cooling down, and
7 p.m.
yeah, 7 to 8 o'clock, and it's cooling down and all that, and it was really good. Even if it was 100 degrees by 7 o'clock, it's cooling down. You get the breeze, and nobody was doing that. And it was amazing the amount of work we got done in an hour of just taking an area, across our streets and picking up the weeds and the trash and making the area look better, grading it out between the street, or if there's dirt, making it look real nice. And it was a heck of a project, but it did. And what I was really most proud of that is it actually taught the kids that, and which was the basic impetus behind this was to teach them that you do need to give back to your community.
Yeah.
And you might not see it there, but I've always said this: once you do something like this, you'll get paid back 2, 3, 4, 10-fold times on doing something like that.
And to not even get anything back, just have a better community.
It is, and ultimately that's the part of it is you build a better community. You put back into your community and make it better. You and everybody else will ultimately benefit even though maybe a better word, even though you might not exactly see it at the time you're doing it, or you might think, oh, why are we doing this, or this trash is hard work or dirty business or whatever. But no, it was an absolutely great effort that we.
I really want to get back into that, especially spring would be a good time to launch.
Yes.
I mean, now the weather's really nice too, but I mean, spring would be.
No, that would probably be a good thing to launch like during spring break.
And you know what I want to do too? Maybe get together with Home Depot and maybe get some birdhouses and stuff like that. Put in some open. Why? What?
I think we're transitioning.
Why do I have to stop talking?
Because they're calling us.
I didn't want to give away all my good
We're
ideas.
getting ready to
anyways.
join KMET 1490. The Mighty Bet. Because we're going on that.
Hello,
You're gonna hear
Sean.
the intro music. Here.
Hello.
There you go.
Hi, Sean.
So we're hooked up. We're getting ready to hook up with KMET 1490. The Mighty Met on there will be out there, as we are on every Monday through Friday from 5:30 to 6 on your
We've
AM.
got 1 minute,
Oh,
everyone.
we've got 1 minute coming on there. So you got that. We'll be joining them on that, previewing some of the stuff. We'll touch on that. We got some more stuff coming up on the agenda and stuff that we'll be bringing you on the Mighty Met 1490 on that. So which is absolutely cool on the old horn blower as we're getting ready for the intro music, which should be coming up here fairly quickly on that.
Thank everyone that's tuning in and watching Roy ramble tonight. We
Yes, I
appreciate
can,
it on
I
a
can
fun-
ramble a lot.
30 seconds,
We got 30
everyone.
seconds
30
left to go.
seconds.
We're gonna hit with the Aussie versus.
I feel normal hearing Sean's voice again. It's like I'm home.
Oh, that's so nice of you.
So that's why I'm his favorite.
All right, here we go, guys.
Ready to hit
10
the
seconds.
intro.
Edition with the KMET sports schedule inside.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
Cut down.
Welcome to IE Newswire Daily with your hosts Stephanie and Roy, where we discuss local news from the Inland Empire and beyond. So sit back and enjoy the show.
And we're back on a. Come on.
Fantastic Friday
Oh, what the heck?
on the Mighty Met
1490
1490 AM. Broadcasting out of Banning. We're also worldwide on the net on IE Newswire on Facebook Live
And YouTube.
and YouTube on that. So we're gonna have to push that. Put the links in there to the YouTube channel. Roll onto the YouTube channel and subscribe to that. Start tuning into that to see
Give
the
us
show.
our number.
You missed the first. Those of you that are tuning in, you missed the first great half hour that we did on that. Pinpointing out that we'll hit a little highlights of that coming up on that. 1-2 breaking news story on that out of Moreno Valley for the local news. Our idiotic attorney general has said, "Oh, the World Logistics Center and the California Air Resources Board. Oh, that project's gonna kill us all. Diesel smoke and all this, and they shouldn't have approved it. Yada yada yada." Total boulder dash. We'll get into that more.
Boulder Dash. I like that.
Yes, we'll get into that more
remember that.
in the coming
Boulder
weeks as it breaks on that. But that just broke in the press enterprise here not too long ago. Gavin Newsom just proposed in his new state budget more health care for illegal immigrants, illegal aliens. 27,000 more are going to get free health care, which is an oxymoron. Because go look in the mirror, California state residents and taxpayers, because you are the one that's paying for this. And if you think that is the best use of your services going, then hallelujah to you, but you're digging yourself the hole to hell. And you're going to continue running the state into the ground on doing this. We need to repeal all these what we need to do is just go up there and kick everybody out. In this election,
Go
I don't
kick
care,
butt.
good, bad, or indifferent, because the good ones are so outnumbered out there. We can take the casualty loss because we'll trade them 1 for 1 right now. We'll do a flip right now to do that. California, you got election coming up in probably less than 6 or 7 weeks. A primary election. Get your heads out of your rear ends.
You know what?
Start studying.
I want to talk about that really quick.
Go ahead.
So I got this postcard the other day that says register to vote.
Yeah.
Already am.
Uh-huh.
And then it gives you all the boxes to check. But Republican wasn't on there.
That's been a whole thing that's been going on.
Why? I mean, I could do independent, which I'm probably going to do anyways, but
Because we're becoming a communist state.
that's just not right.
Exactly.
And I don't usually like to agree with you because I feel like it's boring when I do. But what the heck? Like, why? I don't comprehend why
are
I'm
you
agreeing, and I
enjoying-
don't comprehend. No, I'm not at all.
Are you really are enjoying your morphosis from goldfish brain to dolphin brain.
I'm not.
No, you're exactly
I'm wearing
right.
my ring.
I'm glad you brought it
fishy.
up. That it is. I mean, you can't even check. Not that the Republican Party probably doesn't deserve
Can I make
that.
my own box and then put
Yes.
Republican and check it? I
You know,
mean,
the
is that allowed?
Republican Party in California, as we've been calling it the stupid party, they're now the third largest registration. It's Democrats, no party preference, and Republican. They're down to number 3 now. They've had their own
But
problems.
you can do independent too, right?
Yeah, no party preference is
Oh,
what they
okay.
call it in California now. It used to be declined to state, but they changed it to no party preference.
I thought it was independent. Was it ever independent?
No, it actually never was. In California, there's an American Independent Party which is on there, but that is an actual political party. I don't think we've ever had it. It's either been declined to state or now no party preference on that, which I encourage most people to do. Get out of
I don't
both
really
of their
agree with
parties.
anybody.
That's
I don't know,
why.
but
That's
I don't
why
really
you
know a whole lot to really.
That's
say,
why
I want
encourage.
this, not this.
Yes, that's why I encourage everybody to register as no party preference. Take the power away from the politicians and put it on you. Make them earn your vote. Just don't go in there and automatically crack the D or the R deal. And that's what we're talking about. Study this stuff a little bit coming on the deal. But I want to get into that because we did this. This is another very important one, and let me get my article up on that. But this came on the whole enchilada of that.
I'm in freaking enchiladas. I
And,
can't with you. I'm trying to lose weight. Start saying fruits and veggies. All these
Excuse me, I
beans and
forgot to hit
broccoli.
my cup. But yeah, you know what we're gonna have to do? We're gonna have to make some of that cauliflower dough pizza. I want to try that. I want to see actually how it tastes.
Or you can give me money and I'll just go buy one.
I don't. Did they make one?
Yeah.
It actually tastes.
Biology, I think a lot of their crusts
I always think
are made with cauliflower.
It tastes better when you make it yourself, and you take a little pride in making that.
Not when it comes out burnt.
Boy, can I tell you
So-
some stories about that, but I won't at this time because I don't want to get hit. But
You're gonna get hit by who?
oh well, no. Starting with my mom, I have the great smoke alarm story of Roy on that is absolutely classic. But
Oh,
we'll
you know, I think you've told that one.
yeah, I think I've told it before, but that's a classic one that I could get around with. But no, it's another deal. So, you know, we talked about this, and it goes with the air pollution and all this stuff, and we did it. Those of you that didn't hear it, you
Oh,
need
the
to go
press
back
fire.
to IE Newswire live on either Facebook or YouTube and watch the first half hour. You'll see about where we talked about this whole deal about the World Logistics Centers coming up on that, and we're talking about that. But we've talked about the fires too, and the loss of property over the last few years, and thousands of lives that have been lost over the fires because we have not been ecologically maintaining our forests and our and our vast areas out there, and we're letting these dead trees and the growth of them grow because these environmental wackos are sitting there hugging the trees or saying you can't do this or you can't clear that or you can't cut down dead trees or you can't take out the weeds. Consequently, when the fire lights, it burns square miles and towns out. Thousands of lives are lost. Billions of dollars of property have been lost in California the last 3 years. And it's the so-called claim eco-environmentalists that have been causing this by their stupid policies. People like Roy and all of us that have been saying we need to go up as SoCal Edison and all that, and the Forest Service and saying we need to go in there and clean this stuff out so the new growth will come in. When you have dead growth, the new growth can't grow back. And then you're obviously providing what is called fuel for a fire.
I knew you were going to say that.
And then when it lights, it causes all kinds of destruction. But this is Miranda Devine. She's writing in the New York Post. Celebrity activists, keep this in mind, what's happening in California? Using Australia brush fire crisis to push a dangerous climate myth in that. So she writes in the New York Post. Celebrities and posturing greenies the world over have seized the opportunity of Australia's brush fire catastrophe to push the dangerous myth that climate change is to blame. When one country faces a climate disaster, we all face a climate disaster. Kate Bartlett declared in the Golden Globe Sunday. This is why I don't watch some awards.
Gosh.
They're stupid. Good to that Gervais guy.
They're not stupid.
He's great because he actually mocked these idiots. Make no mistake, the tragedy unfolding in Australia, climate change is said Russell Crowe. Another complete frickin' idiot. Don't buy his music. He's an idiot.
Russell Crowe is an actor.
Well, an actor. Don't watch his movies then. Shows you how much I know about. I really don't watch this stuff because they're all kooks. Anyway, Australia's on fire. Tweeted climate evangelist Greta Thunberg, the 16-year-old genius that doesn't know a damn thing, decrying the lack of political action to combat climate crisis. There is no climate crisis, you complete idiot. Australia is committing suicide is a headline in the New York Times. The New York Times is lying to you. They are no longer the paper of record. They are propaganda artists of the Communist Party and everybody else, like they were saying, 30 U.S. citizens were killed over in Iraq when nothing was the case. Scratch them off the list, too.
Off the list.
Stop buying, reading, mock them every time anybody mentions them. Anybody that even spouts any of this stuff,
Who?
they are the problem.
New York Times?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, as Miranda Devine writes, I'm sorry, but I have actually lived in Australia through the past 2 decades of the escalating fire crisis, and it's not climate change that has caused today's disaster, but the criminal negligence of governments that have tried to buy green votes by locking up vast tracts of land as natural parks, yet fail to spend the money needed to control the ground, fuel, and maintain fire trails. Exactly what we've been talking about. It has happened in California that has caused the blood of those lives lost, and the property damage should be paid by Jerry Brown and every one of you fruity tooties up there that's in Sacramento and stuff that has passed this crap. You guys should be... If the death penalty, in my view, in my world, if I was dictator, the death penalty would be too good of a punishment for you.
Oh, that's
because
passion.
You have cost not only, let's forget about the money and the property damage, but there's been thousands of people burnt to death.
And animals.
And animals, those green little fuzzy creatures that you all go,
hey, the animals are sad too.
Those
man.
people, these Greta Thunbergs and Russell Crowes and all these other idiots and Jerry Brown and Gavin Newsom and Javier Becerra and all these other fruitcakes up there that are spouting this crap. Daryl Peden from out here, you that keep pushing this stuff, now that you're a politician, get ready for the salvos. This is what happens when you're a complete freaking idiot and you don't know what you're talking about. You don't put people in charge that don't know what they're doing. And too long, for far too often, not only in Australia, but in California, we've been doing that. Quit listening to these idiotic Hollywood idiots that are running us right into the ground. We're going to kill ourselves.
I can't even speak on any of that. I agree with all of it, though. I think you're right. I love the passion behind it too.
Well,
why
what
don't they go
motivated?
and clean? Why don't they go and clean up all the dead stuff? What's their problem with that?
Because
they don't want to hire people to do it?
No, they're lying to you. They want to control you. They want to keep you on the plantation just like Mason Weaver's does. We're going to drop this subject and get on to something that's absolutely
Oh my God.
nice happening.
What?
It's one of the fun things that's happening in the Inland Empire out here. tomorrow night, Saturday night, out at Perris Speedway. The Speedway out, not Perris Auto Speedway, the one in the fairgrounds.
There's two people.
Yes, there's two. There's the old Perris motorcycle track that's on the west end, out by 74, out in actually what they call the Good Hope area, out on Burton Road out there. We're going to have the North American Speedway Final out there, which is an absolutely great event. And not only is it a great event, you get to go out there in the pits, walk around, in the grandstands, talk with all the riders and the crews and all that, and enjoy some of the finest speedway motorcycle racing you're ever going to see in California, and my favorite speedway motorcycle track in Southern California, because I think it's the biggest one. We got one of the great stars that's going to be racing out there. He's competed all over there. He's carrying in the fine tradition of his dad, which was a great speedway motorcycle rider on that. He's raced in Europe, won all kinds of stuff. I think we had him on last year this time at the same time on there. But Broc Nihol, Speedway superstar, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. How are you guys?
We're absolutely
Great. How are you?
fantastic. You're on with Stephanie and
Thank
Roy
you for
on
coming
this.
on because he was getting crazy.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh,
you saved me.
Yes, I was getting wound up about
Yeah,
some
you're
other
like
stuff.
my favorite person right now. You have
No,
no
I'm-
idea. He was close to hitting me too.
Now I'm going to direct my enthusiasm to something really productive, which is the great World Championship races that are coming up at Perris Speedway out that. Man, the last year's event was absolutely great. And I love the deal. Right towards the end, I think it was the next to last race. I mean, Max Rommel put on a great outside the run to force a runoff, and you guys actually had to run one more extra main event. That's the kind of exciting racing that you will see out at Perris Speedway tomorrow night. Give them a preview of what's going to happen, Broc.
Yeah, definitely. Last year's racing was awesome, to say the least. It was a bit of a bummer on how my night went. I feel I threw it away, but it was just a couple mistakes I made, and it was all up to me. So but the racing's awesome, especially for this American final tomorrow. It's the best in the country. So the racing's always good. It's super close, and yeah, it's always a good time.
It is, and we're talking with Broc Nihol, a Speedway rider, superstore extraordinaire, and you're seeing it on our video cast on IE Newswire Live. You're seeing some pictures of Broc and him riding in the flyer on Perris Auto Speedway. Tell us about we mentioned the Rommel brothers of that, and Max Rommel and his brother on that. Tell us some of the other riders who are going to be your main competitors out there Saturday night.
We got the Rommel brothers who both go really good. Dylan's starting to come around now, and he's going really quick. And then you got Luke Becker, young kid. I grew up racing with him, and he's over in Europe now and killing it. So, he's flying. And then you got Gino Manzarez, Austin, Billy Gennaro, Colton Hayes. The list goes on. But, it'll be a stacked competition, but I'm feeling good going into this race. The last one that they had there, the under-21 national championship, I had taken home the win. So, I'm confident going into this one, and I'm looking forward to it.
You mentioned that, and you did really well over there in Europe last year, but I think you did, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you did suffer some injuries racing last year. Tell us about it.
Yeah, my season started off a bit slow and started picking up, and I was really happy with how it was going. I was really enjoying it, and then I'd broken my collarbone, so I had to fly home to have surgery, and was out for a couple months, I'd say 2 months or something, and was able to go back to England and finish up the season for the last bit. And that was the best decision I made, because it's the best I've done over there when I went back. And and it set me up really good going into the 2020 season. I've now joined the top league with Wolverhampton Wolves, the team that Luke rides for. So we'll be teammates over there now, and then I'll be doubling up. So in the middle league, I'll be with Glasgow. It's a new team that I just joined for this up-and-coming season, a track I really enjoy. And it's actually the track that they have the GP qualifier at, that if you finish top 2 tomorrow, it'll be at my home track too.
There you go, and it is, and it bodes well for you. I think, like you said, you're primed and ready, and I'm sure this is probably your first race of 2020 on that to test all this out. So, man, it is, and like I've said, I mean, I like the Costa Mesas and the Grand and the small tracks too, but I mean, in Southern California, this is the place. This is really the only place where you can see the speedway bike riders actually get to actually throttle these things up and ride, because the track is quite a bit bigger than the normal genre we usually see you guys ride at out here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, places like Industry and Costa Mesa, it's a bit smaller, and the stadium's pretty nice. But yeah, out at Perris, the track's a bit bigger, and the racing's always better. You have more track to work with, and just opens the doors for a lot more passing. So yeah, it's always a good time, and it's cool that the fans get to come in the pits and kind of see what goes on in between the heat races. Yeah, it's always a good time racing at Perris.
So give us a little update on who tunes your bike, your sponsors, and it takes a whole team to put any racing venue around to that. So give a little plug to all the people that are helping you out.
Yeah, for sure. There's it's all we work as a team, and I couldn't do it on my own. So yeah, if it wasn't for the sponsors, I mean, I've got Hagen Shocks. I'm going on my 10th year with them. They've helped me out since the start, and then I've got Joker Machine, FMF, Race Pro, Troy Lee Designs has helped me out huge in the last few years, and then for the mechanic side of things that work on the bikes in between the heat races is my dad. He's still plugging away doing it, and he's the one I trust the most to be working on my equipment. So yeah, we work good together, and also have a guy, Rick O'Connor, who helps out in the pits as well, and he helps me out with a little bit of sponsorship as well. So yeah, there's no I in team, and I couldn't do it without those guys.
Yeah, and I would really emphasize that it's great for you. Like I say, you're following in your dad's footsteps, and like you see, that trust factor. I mean, not only is your dad, but he knows the sport inside and out. And if you're talking back and forth with him, and you're on the same wavelength language, so I imagine that makes it a lot easier for you. You don't have to do a lot of words or talking. You just kind of you two probably even just really almost know most of the things to do without even saying it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you said, he's been there and he's done it. So when you have someone like that, you just understand each other, and it makes things a lot easier than having someone who hasn't been on a bike before and just knows how to work on it. So it's good. I trust him when he gives me advice, and he trusts me with the changes that I want to make. And yeah, it's great to have someone like him who's been there and he's done it. And yeah, we read each other well and work well together.
So Stephanie, have you ever been to a Speedway motorcycle?
I haven't. But you know what I'm doing tomorrow?
Maybe you'll get to see your first Speedway bike.
I want to bring my boys too, because one of them actually really wants to get into that, and it would be really nice. It would be neat for him to go and see.
So, Broc, tell us how old you were when you first rode a Speedway motorcycle bike.
I'd have to say it would be about 12 years old or something like that.
Oh wow!
I'm 21 now, so, and it's been about 9-10 years. So yeah, it's gone by quick in a blink of an eye. But yeah, I'm loving every second of it.
Yeah, so you can start out very young in this sport and doing that and progress on that. You never know. If you start out like that, you might become the next Broc Nihol out there.
There you go.
Racing all over. Not only that, not only all across America, but even over in Europe, and do that. Give us a little flavor, not only just to being in Europe, but what's the culture difference between the United States and Europe?
Yeah, huge difference. Just the way of living, the weather, the food. And the list goes on. There's so many different things that come along with it. Being away from home, away from family and friends, is a huge part. But it's great living here in California. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, if you want to make it in the racing world and Speedway, you got to be over there, and I love it. It's a lot different, something to get used to, but I enjoy it. If I didn't want it and I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be doing it.
There you go, and we want to wish you a lot of luck tomorrow night to kick off your season, and when you head back to Europe, we'll all be rooting for you on that. And I think you're right. As you progress some of the things you went through on 2019, you might be coming back stronger and bigger and badder in 2020.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about just bike time and learning with every meeting, every race meeting you go to, and you can learn something new every race, and as long as you're looking to grow as a rider all around, you just keep progressing, and I feel I've come leaps and bounds since last season. So hopefully it shows tomorrow night.
You got it. Again, good luck out there, and maybe we'll see you out there tomorrow night at Perris Speedway.
Have fun. Be safe.
Right on. Thank you, guys.
Thanks
for having me.
You got it. Thanks a lot, Broc. You're a great guest.
Yeah,
that's it. Again, that's it. This is your chance to see all the top riders riding on the fastest track you're ever going to see them run in Southern California out here. So I encourage a lot of you that if you don't have anything to do Saturday night, buzz on out there to Perris Speedway. Like I say, it's off going out as you're heading out on 74 towards from Perris to Lake Elsinore. Just as you're getting on the outside limits of Perris, you'll see a I don't remember the exact turn off, but then you turn off one just right real close off there on Burton Road on there. That track's been there, I think, since the 50s of that, and it's an absolutely fantastic little venue.
And I did add on Facebook the link into the comments. If you want to click on it for the event, it should direct you right over to there, so that way you can get more information on it.
There it is. You'll have a great time out there. It's got the. If you got somebody on, we tell them if we can go. We got to go quick. If we do, we got somebody calling in on the. We got a quick statement. Who we got on the line?
It's Dwayne, Roy.
Go ahead. You got about 2 minutes or less.
So I don't know if you knew this, but the guy that owned the original 1968 Bullitt Mustang just sold it at Mecum Auction. He had it in his family. His dad bought it in 1972.
I saw that story. Yeah.
$3.4 million. I mean, you gotta have expected it.
He
That's
bought
a
that
very
from
high
Steve.
car.
He pestered Steve McQueen, or he bought it, and then Steve McQueen pestered him to buy it before he died. Wanted to buy it back, and the guy wouldn't sell it. And he's kept it. I think his wife drove it for many, many, many years. It was her basically her daily driver, and then probably got a new car or whatever, and it just kind of got parked in the back of the deal. And now the original Bullitt, Steve McQueen. Now back when Hollywood really made movies, and you had movie actors that actually stood for something and had half a brain in their head, like Steve McQueen.
He came back on the Cars movie, Lightning McQueen.
Not Lightning McQueen, Steve McQueen.
So look, growing up, there was 3 iconic car chase movies.
Yes.
There was the 7-Ups, the French Connection, and Bullitt.
Yes.
These were the 3 that you have to have in your library, as I do, because they were the best car chase scenes. My personal favorite was Bullitt.
Yes.
But I just saw that the car, what was cool, they didn't fix any of the dents.
No.
They didn't paint. They didn't do anything but keep it mechanically running.
Yes.
And the guy rebuilt the engine and stuff. I mean, whoever got that got a piece of history.
Exactly, yeah. The car was basically as it came off of the movie studio. Like I said, his wife drove it for, I think, like 10 years. They took their kids to school in the car. You know, their kids got to ride in the car of the Mustang that was on Bullitt on that. It is an absolutely a story that probably wouldn't you would have never believed it if you didn't hear it. Thanks a lot, Dwayne, for calling in and refreshing that story. Yeah, I knew that car was going to sell for a lot, but I wouldn't guess 3.4 million.
Right. Take care.
You got it.
Bye, Dwayne.
So what do you think? Any final thoughts? Quickly.
I'm ready for the races tomorrow.
Well, wow. Yes.
But what is it? I can't say. What is it? What is it called?
North American Speedway Final. World Championships. Perris Speedway, the track on the west end, not the fairground.
Not Perris Auto Speedway.
The
other one.
You'll have an absolutely great time.
I'm excited.
Coming on out that.
That's
it for this week. We've had absolutely fun. Our first week back.
A blast!
In the first week of IA Newswire Daily on the Mighty Met 1490 on that, so we're going to keep coming back. You got to be back here starting on Monday on Facebook Live, YouTube at 5, back on KMET at 5:30. As we do, we say, we're gone.
The preceding